Hey, what's going on, my friends? How are ya? Hiker Dave NE here. Um, Before I start the video, I want to mention again how I was referred to this topic. And again, this was in the same live feed from Bigfoot Odyssey. This was also brought up in the conversation during Kerry's live feed a couple nights ago. I like to give credit where credit is due. When I have an idea for a video, sometimes I come up with it and it's questions and thoughts that I have and theories. But when I get it from an outside source, so to speak, I want to give credit to the person that put the thought in my head. I have another video idea coming up soon about this one-armed Bigfoot that was spotted, and it was the story was first brought to my attention recently by Barbara Clear, and she had mentioned in one of her comments that there was a Bigfoot arm found. I think it was in the 80s, 1980 maybe, or the early 80s. I will correct that in the video and make sure I have more details. But thank you, Barbara. I'm going to do a video on that, and I will definitely make sure and give you some credit, Mrs. Barbara Clear. So this video is, I want to get into caves and Sasquatch possibly using cave systems to their advantage. So let's jump right into this. Of course, I'm going to refer to my trusty journal. So first I want to get into types of caves, and there are quite a few. I won't list them all, but I'm going to list a small handful here. There are lava caves, sea caves, glacier caves, limestone caves, fracture caves, talus caves, which are formed by the opening of large boulders that have fallen into a random heap, which actually, from what I am reading, are pretty dangerous, these talus or talus caves. So I looked up climate in these caves. Now, inside these caves, they usually, the climate remains fairly stable throughout the year. Humidity is generally high, often 95%, due to the extremely low evaporation rates. Food sources are generally scarce inside caves as well. So there are ground-dwelling cave animals, such as, oh boy, don't make fun of me because I'm going to try to pronounce some of these words. Troglobites, troglophiles, traglazines, and incidentals. So for this video, I'm going to concentrate on not incidentals, accidentals. So for this particular video, I'm going to concentrate on the accidentals, which are animals that seek a temporary shelter in a cave. For example, an animal running away from a predator. Even humans visit caves for short durations. So some of the animals that inhabit caves are spiders, crickets, bear, fox, rats, snakes, raccoons, moths, swallows, vultures, groundhogs, wolves, mountain lions. The list kind of goes on a little bit. So there's more animals, of course, but you get the point. There's more types of cave systems, but I'm hoping that you guys kind of get the point of that. So it does make sense to me that Bigfoot would use caves for various different reasons. Number one for me would be to avoid bad weather, snow, rain, high winds, and just shelter in general. Also possibly to give birth, as well as dying. Dogs, old dogs, and cats, and some other animals are known to, they kind of know their time is up, and they will find a comfortable spot to lay down and close their eyes, and especially in dogs. That's really all I've heard. I had a friend who had a dog for years, like almost 20 years, and the dog never left his property. And one day, the dog was really getting on. It was sick. And a couple days later, he looked for his dog, and he found it, and it was laying comfortably in a small little ditch that it must have found that area to be where he wanted to spend his final few hours or whatever. But I think that's possibly a reason, too, that caves are used by Sasquatch. So this also, I think, maybe could explain the lack of sign or interaction in my area in the colder months. Um, in my area, anyways, with the colder weather, and this is my theory and opinion only. So, what I did was I went to the web and I started to search for caves in my area, and I was blown away to find 20 different locations right in my area, not 20 minutes from where I am, from where I live. I couldn't believe that. So 20 minutes from me, 20 different locations where there's caves. Not 20 caves, just locations where there are caves. I was shocked to find that out. So, of course, I Google Earth that area, surrounding those areas near me, and I was not surprised to find forested travel corridors to all of those areas right from where I am today. I'm in a local state forest, where I took a little hike earlier for a little bit, and this is where I like to come and do some research and kind of prep for my videos and stuff. I usually go to like on location. I don't do this in my home. I just don't feel, I don't get that. I don't know how to explain that, but there are corridors that lead to all of these areas, forested areas where if you yourself wanted to travel unseen, unnoticed, you could travel wooded forested areas and make it to all of these spots. Really, you could make it all the way up into the White Mountains of New Hampshire from this area. You'd have to cross some roads and highways and such, but you could stay out of sight, travel by night, things like that. So I don't know what kind of cave systems these are. I plan on doing some field research on these and going to visit them, but there's plenty of them. I have a slight case of claustrophobia. Not as bad as it was in my younger days. When I was younger, in my 20s, I wouldn't even get in an elevator. I would take the stairs everywhere. I had a problem with even buses, trains, especially a plane. I've only taken a plane a couple times in my entire life. And the fact that I can't just say, hey, stop the plane, I want to get out. That's my claustrophobia comes into play with that. It's not as bad as it used to be, but. So this is going to be something I'm going to have to overcome because I want to explore some of these caves. I am not a cave person. I have never been in a cave, a literal underground type cave, never. But I am now very curious about it. I do have questions about how or why Sasquatch would corner themselves into a cave system, leave themselves very vulnerable in a trapped, cornered position like that. But giving it more thought, they are absolutely so aware of their surroundings that they, of course, would leave themselves an out or an exit or a back door type thing. And I believe that because of the weather in the cave as well, cooler in the summer, warmer in the colder, frigid temps. But also, they kind of could use it as a home base type area, right? Especially in hard-to-reach, tough terrain areas. Used for feeding. They would catch and capture their prey, possibly bring it back to this cave or cave system for the rest of their pack or clan or family group. Also, I was thinking of this about how they would protect said cave system. Now, of course, I think in a human thought process, if I was in a cave, you got one way in and one way out, and that would be, as a Bigfoot, thinking as a Bigfoot, that is just a no-no. You could easily get cornered, but I think that Sasquatch has ways to deter humans. I'm speaking of humans and possibly some larger wild animals from coming near a cave entrance, such as bluff charges, growls, yells, screams, whoops, maybe snapping limbs, even if you believe in this kind of thing, which I completely do, using infrasound, being able to make, say, a group of hikers is getting a little too close, or some cavers are getting too close to a certain cave where there may be a Sasquatch inhabiting that cave, that they could make you just feel sick to your stomach and really just kind of convince you to leave the area. So I wanted to do this short video. I spent a lot of the day earlier today with the other video that I had just published about the self-awareness of Sasquatch. And I wanted to do this today because it kind of went hand in hand for me with how the idea of coming up with these two latest videos was from Kerry from Bigfoot Odyssey. So there you have it. There's my take on caves and the high probability that Sasquatch use caves to their advantage, especially in the bad weather. Really, I would think that would be their main reason. And maybe as type of like a home base, if it's in a secluded area, high up on maybe a ridge or a mountaintop, or not even necessarily a mountaintop, but a hard-to-reach area that's not really accessible to people. I think we are their biggest threat. And so I think we're probably right there, up there on their list of things to be aware of and stay away from. Thank you, guys. I really do appreciate you clicking, and you'll definitely see me on the next one.